My name is Alina Ispas Montbriand. I am 34 years old and I live just outside of Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Bucharest, Romania. I moved to the US when I was 12, and in seventh grade, I started participating in the micro program. Life in Bucharest was definitely interesting. I mean, we lived in the city our whole lives. We lived in a small one-bedroom apartment. I remember being very excited. I think here in sixth or seventh grade when we rented like a townhome, and I just remember being so excited that we had steps, even though it wasn't a big space, but we had steps, and to me that was a big like we made it because you're different and willing to learn or willing to work hard. That gives you an opportunity that you otherwise might not have in a different society. And I think that was a big motivator for my mom. Certainly, it was always her dream to come over here, and my dad got a fellowship to do his MBA at Drexel, so we joined him, and my mom and I just kind of never looked back. The school I went to, the micro was a part of, was Woodrow Wilson Middle School. It's never easy to make friends when you're starting at that age. MicroSociety was super helpful because it gave me a sense of community. And, once I had a job that I really liked within micro, I knew that was how I was ending my school day. And it was just something to look forward to. There was always that kind of like a light at the end of the tunnel. The experience of working in micro was fascinating because I got to explore several careers that I had always thought I wanted to be. And it was a really good experience to actually live through those jobs. So I remember my very first job was as an attorney. Growing up, I loved negotiating with family, right? And I just assumed that was a natural fit to just become a lawyer. And I think once I was in a micro courtroom and I had to be aggressive and kind of argue like a litigator might have to, it really allowed me to see that I just wasn't too crazy about that. I think I just wanted to collaborate with people more and work together, and that's just not what you would do in a courtroom. So by the time you get to college, you're supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And I think it's just as important to know what you're not a good fit for as it is to know what you are a good fit for. But what I did pursue after that were the newspaper, and then in the subsequent year, I started my own business of making bracelets. All of those were formative experiences, and I'm really, really grateful for them. So the thing I remember most about micro is just feeling like I was an adult, even though I was only 13 at the time. I think that was the coolest thing, because until that point, you only just kind of were a spectator to what your parents were doing or your parents' friends were doing. And you never got to make any of those decisions, like, what do I do with my money? How do I make money? How do I spend my time? And I think being a part of micro, it just felt like we were in our own little world, in our own community, and we got to make all of those decisions. Like if something was going to prevent the newspaper from being printed, ultimately I was the one making the decision on how we were going to solve that problem. So getting to problem solve like we were in the real world was the most awesome thing. And I think I learned just as much from that, if not more, than I did from the classroom experience. I would say there's definitely a lot of skills that I've been using as an adult that I learned in micro. I mean, first and foremost, collaborating with others, whether it was in the newspaper or whether it was when I was owning my own business and talking to suppliers or trying to pursue potential customers to buy my product. I think all of those I use every day now in my current role. I'm at Google, and part of my job is to build relationships with people throughout the organization, throughout the company, and help make products better and help our customers be happier. And on the personal side, obviously money management is a huge skill that I think we all need to have. And it started there, right? Micro was my first taste of actually having my own money. And I think once I started working afterwards, I could certainly rely on that experience that I got of managing. Thankfully, it was fake money, right? So even if I did overspend, I learned the impact of it without it having a real life damaging impact. I got my business degree, my MBA in 2016. Up until that point, I had been a financial analyst. And from there, I went to SAP. And now I just started at Google. And at Google, I'll be working on Google Workspace as a solution manager, which is mostly working with customers on making sure they're successful while using Google Workspace tools. So I think the micro program is really important for kids because it allows them to see the real world early on in a risk-free setting. But I think it also instills the core values in them that are helpful for both their personal lives as well as their career, whether it's figuring out what their passions are. And it also helps with these money management skills, these financial skills, right? So you know where, well, A, you know how hard it is to get a dollar, and then B, you also learn what to do with that dollar in a way that's not wasteful. And I just think it's, important because of the sense of community that it provides. You get to make friends, work towards common goals together, whether it's selling something, whether it's providing an experience. And I think that's just invaluable.